Good evening, everyone. I'm Georgia Davis. Welcome to AZ Illustrated Nature. Spring is in the air, and many of you will be trying to cultivate your gardens. Tonight, we get some advice from the experts at a popular destination in Tucson. Plus, we'll tell you about an invasive tree in Arizona. You'll see the Salton Sea in California, and we'll go extraterrestrial with information about not one, but two comets you will soon be able to see. But first, here's a look at today's top stories.
The Tucson Unified School District is continuing to work to close a $17 million budget hole, but one thing is off the table: outsourcing. The governing board voted 3-2 last night to not include outsourcing as part of its budget-cutting plan. Jobs on the table before the vote included transportation, custodians, human resources, and payroll. The board originally gave district administrators the green light to explore outsourcing, but after public outcry decided last night to keep the jobs in the district. Last month, TUSD's decision to close 11 schools as part of a money-saving measure was approved. State lawmakers want stricter labeling for medical marijuana. Senate Bill 1440 requires food that includes marijuana and is sold in licensed medical marijuana dispensaries to be specifically labeled so that everyone knows the product contains the drug. Kimberly McCacheron with the prosecuting attorneys says that type of labeling is needed so people don't accidentally ingest the food with the drug in it. State Representative Mark Cardenas says the State Department of Health already has rules requiring the labeling, so he doesn't think the law is needed. The bill has already cleared the Senate, but still needs a vote in the full House. And the Arizona Senate is one vote away from allowing guns in rural schools. The Senate gave preliminary approval today to a proposal allowing certain teachers and school administrators to carry guns in schools. Senate Bill 1325 would only apply to schools that are more than 20 miles or 30 minutes from a law enforcement facility and have 600 or fewer students. Opponents say instead of allowing guns in schools, the legislature should fund school resources officers. A similar law is in effect in Texas. And that's a look at tonight's headlines.
The winter's cold spells and ongoing drought have taken their toll on gardens throughout southern Arizona. But if you take a closer look at the plants that have survived and even thrived, you're likely to notice that most of these species are native to the Sonoran Desert. Tonight we'll learn more about these hardy desert dwellers from some of the experts at a popular garden destination in Pima County.
Tohono Chul Park, northwest of Tucson, has been recognized as one of the world's great botanical gardens. In existence for more than 30 years, endemic plants, including the familiar and the uncommon, are featured through seasonal landscaping and in their specialty gardens.
This is our ethnobotanical garden. Things that were brought in by the Spanish early on and adopted by the indigenous people, and some of the things are native to Arizona. And this is our sweet lupins. We have them covered because we have a rabbit problem, and they do like to eat them off. Most lupins are actually poisonous to eat, but these sweet lupins, if you take the beans and soak them, you can eat the beans, and they're good. And then in between the rows, we have our toy onions. And the toy onions, we actually separate these, and we plant one bulb, and they're a clumper, and they'll grow this clump. And they will get about twice this size. We grow two types of fava beans here, Tarahumara and the Guatemalan purple fava beans. It's a bush that's going to get about 2 to 3 feet high, 2 to 3 feet across, and it produces a big seed pod that has 3 or 4 beans inside. And those beans are a deep, deep purple when they come out, and they're beautiful. They're delicious to eat.
On its 49-acre plot, Tohono Chul Park displays a sampling of the nearly 4,000 native plants found in more than 100,000 square miles of Sonoran Desert. To support plantings of this magnitude requires a tremendous behind-the-scenes effort, including in the seed repository.
This is where we store our ethnobotanical seeds and our seeds for the grounds. This is some of the onions we had talked about earlier, and you can see that they're dry here, but the vast majority of these will resprout once we plant them. These are the dark purple of those Guatemalan fava beans.
Stored in tins to deter rodent smorgasbords, the carefully cataloged seed bank contains seeds for non-edible plants as well, including one of the Sonoran Desert's most recognized spring wildflowers.
Penstemons is one of our specialties. We have over 50 kinds. These are all penstemon seeds here. What we try to do is mimic what goes on in their own environment. They are collected in the fall, and we plant them in the fall. But there's a whole series of events that happen before they get here.
Hard to find in these little seeds, but
we use seeds because we're interested in getting the characteristics that come from generations of plants, because we want plants that are going to be happy here, that will take the cold and the heat and our low water. And we've seen over time some of the plants actually adapt when you get second and third generations of those plants. Anything that we grow is basically seeds. We do have layering, we do some divides, we have a few cuttings, but it's basically from seeds.
This is layering. It's a vegetative form of propagation. What we will do is make a small groove, insert the node.
Layering uses a shoot from the parent plant, covering it with soil until it produces roots, and then separating it from the original. Dividing a plant creates exact copies of the original plant, and cutting buries a piece of the source plant into new soil. The most labor-intensive technique is manually acquiring viable seeds.
We put a lot of effort into our propagation program because it's another way where we can show people that the things that they think of when they think of the desert isn't all that's here. There's so much behind that. People are creative, and we can create with our environment, with plant propagation, and we can do it in a way that still allows us to live in a beautiful way and in harmony with our region.
No matter how they get their start, all these plants require water. According to Tohono Chul staff, hand watering is labor-intensive. Bench sprinklers less so, but more wasteful. So the push is on for even better irrigation methods.
We're now using a different kind of emitter system versus the sprayers, and what we found is with the new emitter, we will put 60% less water on a plant with this emitter, and it's consistent. Plants are happier because they're getting treated special, each one, and they're being watered the same way every day.
The behind-the-scene efforts strive to replicate the natural processes of the Sonoran Desert. The results can be inspirational to the visitors of Tohono Chul Park.
We hope that every visitor who comes here will have their eyes, their minds, their senses open to new possibilities. We hope that they will appreciate what the Sonoran Desert has to offer rather than looking at it as what it is not, because there's so much more that it is than the what there is not.
Tohono Chul Park will hold its annual spring plant sale this Saturday and Sunday, March 16th and 17th. It is one of several nonprofit organizations and businesses that hold these springtime events. Now, cold-hardy, heat-tolerant, and drought-resistant plants are great for the Sonoran Desert, but not when we're talking about non-native species that compete with our endemic plants. Tonight, we'll learn more about one of these plants that has become pervasive in much of the country, including here in the Southwest. We're talking about tamarisk, or salt cedar, and Susanna Perlstein is here to tell us more about the tamarisk. She's a doctoral student in the University of Arizona's Department of Soil, Water, and Environmental Science. And thank you for joining us, Susanna.
Thank you for having me.
So I have in front of me some branches. They look like they belong to a very beautiful tree, but I guess this is a problem plant?
It can be certainly listed as a problem plant. We're trying to get away from calling it a problem species, especially when you're trying to remain unbiased in your science. It's hard to go after a problem plant. But this is actually a different species of plant than what I study. It is the same tamarisk, but this is a phyla, the species name. So I'm mostly studying Ramosissima, Parviflora, Chinensis, and their hybrids.
Are there any tamarisk plants that are native to the Southwest?
No.
So they're all, including this one, invasive species?
They are all introduced species, absolutely. They came here in the early 1800s, and they've spread to almost every state in the United States. And we're trying not to call them invasive species. They're introduced, they've become naturalized to their environment.
Okay, I see. So when did they come over? Where did they come from?
They came from Eurasia. So in the 1800s, they were brought over from, and Eurasia, think of China, Mongolia, Afghanistan, that area. And they were brought over for kind of on a high, it was a valuable import. They were these beautiful plants. They have a very beautiful flower. And they were also brought over for soil erosion. But they have since spread west and have a lot of what we called hit lists attributed to tamarisk in terms of very high water usage, which it actually doesn't, and soil salinization, which it actually doesn't add very much salt to the soil, these kinds of things. The main thing that tamarisk does do that is a relative detriment to the environment is it does have very high and intensity and high severity of forest fires.
Okay, so I'm going to go in that route in just a moment, but first, what is it that about the climate, the soil, the water here that has allowed this plant to so successfully thrive?
Absolutely. Well, it's a halophyte, so it means that it can complete its entire life cycle under salty conditions. And so with not 100% attributed to river regulation, but along with river regulation, we no longer have natural overbank flooding that leaches salts, and so you are having an increased salty environment and also a drier environment. And things like our native cottonwoods and willows, they really depend on these spring floods to help germinate their seeds, and their seeds do not remain very viable for a long time. But tamarisk seeds remain viable for a little bit longer than they do. So that has allowed them to grow into these stream-side ecosystems we call riparian areas.
Okay, so I was reading that the tamarisk doesn't actually take up more water than other native species.
Right.
But they grow more densely?
Yes. It depends on the river system. It really does. But yes, they can grow much more densely, absolutely.
Okay, so tell me about the beetle.
Absolutely. Well, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, along with some collaborators with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, went around and tried to find something that could help, because at the time we were thinking tamarisk uses so much water that we need to control its population to reduce its water use so that we can use water for ourselves, not just for drinking water, but for things like recreation, that kind of stuff. And so the beetle was released. It is from Eurasia. It grew up with tamarisk in its native land. They're kind of adapted to each other over in Eurasia. And they came over, and it was released in 2001, and since then it has spread.
So are the beetles then doing the job they were brought here to do, and that is control tamarisk?
Well, they are certainly reducing tamarisk's water use. On one study that I'm on, we've seen a 50% reduction in water use in just 1 year of beetle arrival.
Well, how are the beetle populations doing here?
They are expanding. When they were first introduced, it was thought that they needed a certain day length requirement to reach reproductive age, and that if they were released at a certain higher northern latitude, that they wouldn't get it, and so that they wouldn't reach reproductive age, they wouldn't move out of that latitude. And unfortunately, that has happened. They have moved. They're in the lower Colorado now, so near the border of Mexico. They might even be in Mexico.
So how much is known about the beetle and its relationship to our habitat? Because that is another non-native species.
It is. It's an introduced species, absolutely. And that's where a lot of the research needs to focus on. We need to look at the beetle is working, it's reducing tamarisk's water use, but we need to look at how is it affecting the ecosystem? How is it affecting how tamarisk grows? And the environment that it's in.
Is it still fair to call it a non-native species, or is this another one that's kind of been naturalized to the southwest?
The tamarisk or the beetle?
The beetle.
We're calling it an introduced non-native.
Okay. And so, and you're studying the link between the beetle and water. I don't know if you can give me, and this is just a very, very short time we've got left, a little bit about your study and what kinds of results you're seeing.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm studying on the Virgin River near Las Vegas. And this is the lower part of the Virgin River before it feeds into Lake Mead. And we're doing ground monitoring, sap flow sensors, looking also using phenology cameras that look at the timing of life events. When do they flower? When do they bloom? That kind of thing. And then also using remote sensing. And what's unique about my study is that we're getting baseline data. Before the beetle arrived, we're getting an idea of what that ecosystem looked like, so that now that the beetle has arrived, we can understand what is a normal environment.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this.
Thank you.
White smoke spewed from the Vatican chimney today, and the newly elected Pope Francis greeted tens of thousands from the papal balcony. He's the first leader of the world's Catholics to hail from the Americas.
We get the latest on the 76-year-old Argentine pontiff and what his selection means for the church.
Then, as the budget battles rage on in Washington, we examine the quest for bipartisan solutions.
In the first of two stories about toxic drinking water in the United States, Miles O'Brien reports on the company and the regulators charged with the cleanup.
And we close with stories of sexual assault in the military, recounted today at a Senate hearing. That's all ahead on tonight's NewsHour.
The South by Southwest conference is full of hot young musicians looking for a break. And then there's Harry Tausig.
A solo guitarist playing obscure, strange music. No, I don't think that was ever a living.
A 71-year-old guitarist gets ready for his first concert ever on the next Morning Edition from NPR News.
Southern Arizona is known for its beautiful starry nights, and many stargazers are looking up at the heavens with extra enthusiasm this week due to a special show high above our planet. For the first time this century, many people in the northern hemisphere will be able to see a comet. To talk more about the best way to see the celestial show, we are joined by Adam Block. He is the manager at the University of Arizona's Mount Lemmon Sky Center. So we've got comets.
Yeah.
One this week.
Indeed, there is a comet that's visible in the sky now, and potentially in the fall there will be another beautiful comet that we'll be able to enjoy. So some this year are calling this potentially the year of the comet, because this is something to see in the night sky.
So how rare is it that we get comets or that we can actually see them?
Comets are always orbiting about the sun, and they come from the very outer reaches of the solar system, kind of like in the deep freezer of the solar system in what's called the Oort cloud, very far from the sun. And just like you look in the back of your freezer and you might find something that you didn't know was there, comets can be like that. And the ones that we're enjoying now, Pan-STARRS is the comet that's available now, it came from that region. And it's a bit of a surprise, I think, because it's nice that it's showing up so well in the sky. And then again, they're unpredictable, so hopefully this other one in the fall will be equally enjoyable, if not more. I think that if people have an opportunity to look outside to see Pan-STARRS and they succeed, they'll be really happy in the fall if it lives up to its predictions with this other comet.
So for people who want to see Pan-STARRS, how do they do it?
The Pan-STARRS, like any comet, they orbit the sun, and they tend to be brightest when they are near to the sun, which is true now. It just passed the sun. So it means it's kind of hard to see because you only see them just a few minutes after the sun sets and when it is dark enough. So now that would be about 35 to 40 minutes after sunset. It's about 7:10, 7:15 local time. And you will search the western sky very low in the sky, just above where the sun set. Last night, in a picture that I took, you could see the comet next to the moon, to the left of the moon. So it was easy to find because the moon helped. When the moon's not there, it's a little more tricky, a little more difficult. Tonight, for example, it will be beneath the moon. And then probably another couple of days after that, by the end of the week, it'll start to become more difficult to see, but people should still give it a shot.
And what is the best way to see this? I see you've brought some equipment with you.
By far the best way, especially to see comets, but things in general, especially from your home, would be a simple pair of binoculars like one of these. So to find the comet, you would scan the sky very low on the horizon. Once you can see the stars, you should be able to find this comet. It'll look like a very dim, fuzzy patch of light with a small tail coming up and to the left or up above, away from the horizon. And once you've identified it in binoculars, then you can take the binoculars away. Maybe you can see it with your unaided eyes as well. Yeah, so it's neat. And I think the exciting thing is that there are many people who have never seen a comet. I believe yourself, you haven't had an opportunity to do so. So this is something to take advantage of. Maybe kids who are alive today have never seen a comet before. We're old enough to have potentially remembered Hale-Bopp, Hyakutake back in the mid-90s. But this is exciting that we have another opportunity to see these things.
And you have a camera out. You said you took pictures yourself, so you can get it.
Once you find it, it's not too difficult. I don't think you can do it with a cell phone and a camera, but a camera like this, a digital camera, will allow you to take a picture, a 5 or 10 second exposure. Once it's dark enough, you'll need a tripod to be able to keep a steady view. Yeah, you will be able to pick it up on your pictures as a small fuzzy, like you expect a comet to look, a fuzzy round part with the coma with the tail going off up and to the left.
Sounds good. Well, no number of us will probably be outside tonight with our cameras and binoculars.
Don't be frustrated though. This is a challenge.
Be patient.
Yeah, you got to be patient.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
California has a famous body of water. No, it's not the Pacific Ocean, and it is not even near this popular Pacific coastline. It is the Salton Sea, and it's located in the desert, in the southeast corner of the state. Next, we take you on a visit to this dramatic landscape that is teeming with life, but is also facing deadly challenges.
At 227 feet below sea level, the Salton Sea is one of the lowest spots on Earth. While called a sea, it also happens to be California's largest lake and home to the Sonny Bono Salton Sea National Wildlife Refuge. Most of the wildlife taking refuge there are birds.
This National Wildlife Refuge has documented over 424 bird species. That's a tremendous number for any single area across North America. Among other national wildlife refuges that I'm familiar with, it's more than any other refuge in the whole country.
The Salton Sea is a hotspot, literally, and not just for bird watching. Located above active seismic features, its shore is dotted with evidence of the escaping tectonic heat. But it's hot in other ways too. Located in the Sonoran Desert, the Salton Sea is, in all senses of the word, a desert lake.
Rainfall is sporadic. It's nothing to be counted on. On average, over the decades, it probably averages about 2 to 3 inches a year. We're among the lowest rainfall averages in the U.S. Summer, I wouldn't be surprised if we are around 115 degrees Fahrenheit for a sustained period. We can get as hot as 120 degrees. Winters are very mild, and so we are a wintering destination for a lot of bird species from northern latitudes.
Those desert conditions contribute to another of the Salton Sea's characteristically distinctive traits, the salinity of the water.
The Salton Sea is getting saltier. Nutrients are accumulating. It's at about 52 parts per thousand salt. The Pacific Ocean is about 35 parts per thousand, so it's getting significantly saltier than normal marine habitats. But it's still a good destination for birds. They're still able to find ample habitat, healthy habitat here at the Salton Sea.
The ever-increasing salinity and blistering heat have led to extreme conditions for some of the wildlife that lives below the surface.
It is a stressed environment. For example, a lot of the game fish that used to be in the Salton Sea, the corvine and the croaker, have died out. The Salton Sea is like a fish tank that you might have at home that you sustain by plugging in your filter and running your pump to oxygenate the water. The Salton Sea is a contained environment like that, except it doesn't have the benefit of an oxygenator and a filter to filter out all the waste products from organisms living and dying in the Salton Sea are producing. Specifically, those byproducts of organic decomposition are hydrogen sulfide and ammonia. Well, those two components of organic decomposition are accumulating, and it's stressing the environment, and so far has caused the extinction of corvina and croaker in the Salton Sea. The state of California regulates all public water bodies and has not declared the Salton Sea a hazard to humans or wildlife.
In spite of all the adversity, the Salton Sea remains a popular stopover for millions of birds on their annual migrations. And with the presence of those birds, it's also a popular spot for bird watchers to ply their hobby.
A lot of the birds and animals come and go throughout the year, perhaps just getting a little rest and food to continue them on their migration farther south or north, whichever direction they're going. Biologically, it's extremely interesting to see wildlife working on the edge of an extreme environment and succeeding. They do it well here.
Spring is in the air and millions of people are heading outdoors to hike, birdwatch, stargaze, or work in their gardens. And we won't be alone. Mother Nature also has many plans this month, and tonight we'll learn about them from an expert at the Arizona Sonoran Desert Museum. He says March is a busy month in the ecological calendar.
This is Eric Rakestraw here at the Arizona Sonoran Desert Museum. March is a great time to come out and see some of the wildflowers that are starting to emerge. Here in the Tucson Mountains, we have over 360 species of plants. Of those plants, over half of them are annuals. Some of the colors one might expect to see out here are the yellows of the poppies, the blue-purple of the lupin, and the showy colors of the penstemons. March is also a great time to see the highly specialized nesting activity of many species of desert bird. In front of me is a cactus wren nest and a teddy bear cholla. What I'm holding in my hand is a saguaro boot. When we see nests in saguaro, all we see from the outside is a hole. The nest inside of a saguaro looks something like this. The boot is formed when the bird excavates a cavity in the saguaro. The tissue then hardens off to prevent microbial infection and disease. Typically, woodpeckers and flickers will just use this nest one time and move on and make a new nest every year. Other birds can move in and utilize this already made compartment. Those include screech owls, kestrels, and even transplants like English sparrows. Another great place to look for nests is in trees. Birds from raptors all the way down to the tiny hummingbird will make nests in these trees. These tiny little hummingbird nests are the perfect size for their jelly bean-sized eggs.
That's our show for tonight. To post a comment on any of these stories or to keep up with the latest news, go online to our website, azpm.org. I'm Georgia Davis. Thanks for watching.